Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Maha Shhadeh, IIU Country Director, Lebanon, IIU International Students Development Council. I stand before you today with a heavy heart. It pained me, as well as you, to witness the daily suffering of innocent children in conflict zones, a situation that has left us shattered and compelled us today to address the urgency of their plight. It breaks my heart to see children write their names on their hands, so in case they are going to pass away, their fathers or their parents are going to be able to recognize them. It breaks my heart to see children or to see a father left with the heartbreaking task of collecting his children remaining in a bag. It breaks my heart. It breaks our hearts to see children expressing a fear of going to their own graveyard, to see children mourning the loss of their parents, mourning the loss of their siblings, their relatives, and their friends. But the heartbreak doesn't end here. It breaks my heart to see children just having their homes destroyed and just having their toys and their homes reduced to rubble and thatch. It breaks our hearts to see kids suffering on a daily basis, enduring savage and senseless deaths. It breaks our hearts to see that these children lack the basic or the most important necessities of daily life. They don't have food to eat. They don't have water to drink. These children actually, irrespective of the race, background, religion, whatever they are coming from, they are innocent victim caught in the crossfire. Today, I'm here not just to assign blame to any nation, not to discuss who is right or who is wrong. I'm here as a voice for the voiceless. I'm here representing the innocent children who didn't choose their own race, who didn't choose their own background, who didn't choose their own religion. I'm here just to represent them. Children deserve more than this. They deserve a childhood free from violence, free from hunger, free from the destruction of their homes and the destruction of their toys. Every day, every minute, every second, I'm just asking myself, and you should ask yourself, where are the advocates of the human right? Where is the Declaration of the Children's Right? Where are the champions of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals for the protection of children? Where? Are we supposed to consider this as just convention, as a document to decorate the shelf of our library? Are we supposed just to teach children or to teach our students as educator, as a professor everywhere around the world about the children's rights, about SDGs, doing a project, doing research, and today we are doing nothing? Where are these all? Do you know that the current war in Gaza, especially if I'm gonna speak about Gaza alone, because we consider as a very important and something urgent to speak about, according to the United Nations Office for the coordinations of the humanitarian affairs that the toll on children is devastating. According to them, they reported that the death toll till nowadays, just more than or just less than 1 month, reached to 4,104. It's something terrible. It's something evil. Just 1 month, and we have such a big number. We have such a terrible number. Do you know that every day we witness the loss of around 136 children, as reported by World Health Organization? Not only that, actually, I'm not saying this to give you numbers. I'm not saying that just to add a statistic for you because all of you know. But I'm just saying that to remind each one of you that each number of this, each child has a story. Each child has a family, has a hope, has a dream. We are not just to count them as number. We are not just to speak about them as a certain types of statistic here and there. They are human. They are innocent soul, and it's our duty all over the world to raise the voice, to be their voice, and to speak about what is happening here and there. Not only that, when it comes to the United Nations, Chef himself, he declared just 2 days or 3 days ago that Gaza is becoming a graveyard for kids. If he himself, the one who is responsible to take care about kids all over the world, if he's himself the United Nations and the UNICEF, the one they usually say or teach us that no child is supposed to be left behind. So this is sure should promote us to question the mortality of our action. And this is also should promote us to call for a quick end for this humanitarian crisis. Do you know what breaks my heart more? What breaks our hearts all? That still nowadays we consider some people believe that debating or speaking or standing with such types of children is a matter of debate. Just imagining the situation, just thinking that this is a humanitarian case is a debate, really is so terrific. We are human. If we are not going to think about our humanity, if we are not going to consider that these kids, why we should blame these kids for something they didn't do it? They are just a victim of they are just victim of this savage war. They have nothing to do with adults' war. They are victim because of race, victim because of their background, victim of because of their religion. So it's time for all of us to call for action. Today, we are here just from different countries. We just collaborate, we gather from different countries across the world to say we just have one message, to say no to war, no to violence. Together here, we are gathering to stand with these children, whatever their race is, whatever their color is, whatever their religion is. We don't care about the color, we don't care about religion, we don't care about background. What we care about, or what we should care about all, is humanity. Standing with these children is not a matter of opinion. It is a call to our shared humanity. Let us all just have one voice, one message to share. Their lives matter, their childhood matter, their innocence matter, and all together we are supposed to make a difference. And all together we should raise our voice to protect them. Thank you all for listening to me. Before we are going just to start with our first speaker for today from Brazil, I would like to start with a short video that represents the children we are gathering together today for them. Let us start with the children voice themselves. 1 minute only, just to share. Sorry. We just have technology usually is not with us.
Hello. 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 How are you, Maha? Hello. How are you, Maha? How are you, Maha? How are you? How are you?
I think I'm just also having a problem because you didn't see the video. Unfortunately, it's fine. Just also having a problem because you didn't see the video. Unfortunately, it's fine. Let us start with our first speaker for today. Join me in welcoming our first distinguished speaker from Brazil, Mr. Paula Perez Lopez. If you please, the floor is yours.
Oke, tahun tapi tanggal berapa makasih ya.
Miss Paula, we can't hear you also.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So thank you very much for being here. It's a great pleasure to share with you. You know that I'm from Argentina, and I'm also here with some friends from Brazil and Ecuador. We are all working on in a network that is a Latin American network that works with the adoption of children and adolescents. And I think that this is something that we must talk about, because today we are gathering here to talk about children and teenagers in war zone. And you know what? That there are many children that are going to end up with no family at all. So I think that our role here, can I share my screen or not? Hello? No, that's it. Can I share my screen?
Yes, sure.
Great. It's a very brief presentation, so let me know if you can see it. Yeah? Can I share my screen or not?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can.
Well, you know that I think that we nowadays are talking a lot about rights all over the world, about equality, about different kinds of role, and we celebrate that we are doing that, because these mean that we as human beings are improving ourselves. We are becoming better human beings, better societies, but in our network, in a Latin American network, we think we are not doing enough for children's rights. Because even though we are working on that, we are not doing as much as we should. So I'm going to share with you some numbers. And remember that behind these numbers are stories, and there are names, and there are children's stories and lives. So if we have to think of rights, you know that there are many children in the world that are at risk because of the world, because of the vulnerability of their rights. So a child at risk is a child who is experiencing or is at risk of abuse, neglect, of any kind of harm. That would be a children at risk in the world. So if we take into account education as a right, we have to bear in mind that there are 263 million children and youth out of school, and that 53 million girls are out of primary school. So are we taking care of education? Are we taking care of children's rights? I am a professor, you know, and education is one of my topics. But I think that whenever we talk about education, we are not taking into account the ones that have disabilities or the children that don't have access to education at all. Well, we have to think of, if we have to think of children without families nowadays, without taking into account children that are involved at war at this moment in different parts of the world, we have to say that 105 children in the world out of 1,000 children live in institutions. And this means that their lives are institutions, are not as they should be. They are at risk of being abused. They are at risk of not having education at all. They don't have the support, the love, and care of a family. So this affects their development, their social development, their right as a person to live in a family, that's another right. So sometimes when we are talking about children's rights, it seems that we forget that they are human beings and their rights are as important as the rest of rights. So here we have what? Children work. You know, in the world, we have 168 million children working in the world. They should be studying. They should be playing. They should be enjoying life. So I think that let's stand for children's rights around the world. Let's protect children. They are now, as we heard before, they are in the middle of the world. They don't have protection. They don't have families taking care of them. They are undergoing dramatic situations and traumatic situations that would affect their lives for the rest of their lives, even though they survive. So whenever we think of children at work, we have to be conscious that they are going to be children without families, that there are still children that live in homes or orphanage. And the situation is this, that the common issues for children in institutions care are a significant increase of risk of sexual and physical abuse, a lack of stimulation, a harsh discipline. Children in institutions are less likely to attend school and are frequently isolated from their traditional communities. So we have to bear in mind and we have to work harder because we are not doing enough. So I want to share this video from UNICEF and also mention that this video talks about rights, children's rights. This is very short, but they also talk about children with families. We don't have to forget that there are many children, 153 million children in the world that don't have a family to support them, to take care of them. So whenever we talk about rights, we have to remember their rights too. Let me know if you can see it, please.
It's okay. Your video.
Well, thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you very much for being there. And let's try to do a better world for our children. They deserve more. They deserve more. And we have to work harder to give them a better world with the same rights everywhere. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Paula Lopez from Brazil, for your amazing contribution, for the message you shared. And now, welcome me, and just let us welcome our second speaker for today. Our second speaker is Zainab Arzouni from Lebanon. The digital floor is yours, Zainab. Are you here? Can you hear me? Zainab?
Yes, Miss Maha. Hello,
Floor is
everyone.
yours. Yes, floor is yours.
Thank you. Hope you are all doing well. So today I want to address my region, the region I'm living in. So if you know that it all started last month on 7 October, sorry. And since that, conflicts have fired in my country, Lebanon, particularly in South Lebanon and Palestine.
I think Zainab face a problem issue. Okay, thank you, Zainab. Until you are going to be able.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, I had a technical problem. Okay, so hope you're all doing well. So today I want to address my region, the region I'm living in. So if you know that it all started last month on 7 October. And since that, conflicts have fired in my country, Lebanon, and particularly in South Lebanon and Palestine, which borders Lebanon from the south, particularly Gaza. So Gaza faced the deadliest and merciless bombings of all time. It was bombed with a nearly amount that is comparable to half a nuclear bomb, half the Hiroshima one, which people are still inhaling its consequences till now since World War II. They also used the white phosphor while fighting Gaza, which is a forbidden weapon. It's internationally banned. To that, if your skin just feel it, it can cause you a third-level burn to as it can melt your bones. Like, could you imagine that your bones are the most rigid thing that it can melt by the white phosphor? So records show that over 40,000 people were victims since October 7 in Palestine, where around 10,000 of them are children. They buried their dreams, their rights, and their souls under the ruptured buildings. They were deprived from the basic life needs, the basic rights, the rights to drink a clean water. When they cut them off from water, they connected the sea salty water for them. They also cut off food and disconnected Gaza from the whole world by cutting the internet connections from them. So you can hear no voices, you can hear no sounds from Gaza because they disconnected it from the whole world. And since Lebanon was the only country defending with Gaza, so they also started fighting us. So South Lebanon is being bombed since 1 month, I'm living in South Lebanon. All the people fled to cities, okay? We didn't fled. Actually, every day we're sleeping, hearing the bombs, hearing the strikes. And a few days ago, they bombed, they targeted a car with the three children, three little girls. They are Taline, Rimas, and Leah. Taline is 14, Leah is 12, and Rimas maybe 10. So they targeted them. They were all victims of this war with their mother and grandmother. So we raise our voices from here, from Lebanon, from Gaza to the whole world. We call for that children's life matters. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Zainab Arzouni from Lebanon for your contribution and for the message you shared. We all have the same message: stop war, stop violence, because all the children, and you are one of them, deserve to live in a peaceful world. Now, let me welcome our third speaker for today, Professor Profian Demo from Philippines. Floor is yours. Dr. Frolin, are you here?
Yes, of course.
Yes. Floor is yours, if you please. It would be a great pleasure to hear from you, to raise your voice and share your message.
Hello, good evening. Am I audible?
Yeah, it's fine now.
Yes, good evening, everyone. So I'm Dr. Froilan Yomo from the Republic of the Philippines. So I'd like to say mabuhay and magandang gabi. So part of the, well, of course, teaching kids or children in various forms of self-discipline and personal protection is far more sensible than shielding their innocence. Of course,
Yes.
some of them are criminals and sexual predators, while others are plain poisonous. But raising moral, responsible, but informed children who understand that horrible things can happen to anyone, in that society isn't always kind, is something I support, of course. Sincerity is it's vital. It is worthwhile to disregard their innocence, just like in the Philippines. One of the program of the former President Rodrigo Duterte during his term is about the special program of children in situations of armed conflict act that is under the Republic Act 1188 that was signed into law. Of course, the purpose of that is it shields children from all forms of abuse, violence, neglect, cruelty, discrimination in other circumstances that could harm their development. So it is very important, of course, to all countries, of course, part of that also the Philippines, to strengthen, of course, the importance of this law, so that everyone will be aware and will be informed. So that would be all on my part. Once again, thank you for inviting me. And again, mabuhay and good evening.
Thank you, Dr. Profian from Philippines for your message. Now we are going to move to our fourth speaker, Ms. Sarah Perkis from Brazil. It's a great pleasure to have you with us today. Floor is yours.
Hello, it's my pleasure to be here. Unfortunately, talking about such difficult and unbelievable subjects. Well, I have the pleasure of represent Ponte de Amor, that is an NGO in Brazil that means Bridges of Love, that works for every orphan and vulnerable children so that they might live in a safe family. I am also representing ANGAAD, the National Association for groups that support adoption, and we are part of this Latin American Network for Adoption that Professor Paola mentioned. And I'm also representing World Without Orphans, this international movement that also works for the protection and safeness of children. Well, we know that in situations of crisis and wars, the vulnerable children, actually the children are the most vulnerable ones, right? They are the ones that really lose a lot. And in the last years, we can talk about the 3 C's, the 3 waves of crisis that are coming so fast. The first C is the climate, the extreme climate events. The second C is the contagion, epidemic contagion, outbreaks and threats. And the third C is for conflict, countries affected by conflict. We know that anxiety, loneliness, and insecurity follow these children when they're living in these situations, especially, now I'm talking especially in conflict zones. Many children in conflict zones, they have lost their homes, they have lost their families, their parents, they have been displaced from their neighborhood, they cannot study anymore, they cannot have rights for health, for food, for water. The most basic needs are not being supplied. And we cannot in any way feel comfortable about that. Children need to feel safe. This is their basic need, their most basic need. Dr. Karen Purvis, she says that every child to become a safe and a healthy adult, this children needs to have a sense of identity, of value, and purpose. And unfortunately, this crisis, they steal these three important areas in these children's lives. Every time that we think children, we need to think family, because family is the place that needs to bring this safe feeling, this safe place. And war destroys families, bring deep trauma, huge impact on children's development. We need to build ways together to bring hope, healing, and support to those kids in war zones or refugees. They have the right to live, they have the right to grow in peace, they have the right to play, to study, to have their basic needs attended. And I believe that together we can bring this situation from crisis to hope. And what do we need to build as a strategy? We need to raise what are the numbers, locations of children affected by crisis. Second place, what are the ages and types of vulnerability and threat and trends over time of children affected by crisis? What are the likely risks for these children during and after the crisis? What is the minimum package of hope for families and children? We need to delivery mechanisms. What is deliverable, scalable, affordable to bring hope in the middle of crisis? We also need identification systems for children affected so that we can reach them with hope. What are our data priorities that show we can reduce crisis and increase hope? Who are the key stakeholders for reaching families and children in crisis with hope? What is our advocacy and communication strategy to raise hope, focus, and expand our reach? What are resources of funds, political buy-in, and platforms to be leveraged to carry hope? I am going to share in the chat this slide, okay, so that we can think together later on these issues. And in WWO, the World Without Orphans, we developed a roadmap for safetyness for children, thinking about every NGO, every movement, every organization, or even governments, how we can together develop programs. And many studies were done, and lots of precious things are available in this roadmap that I'm also share the link in the chat. The 4 columns are working in collaboration. We cannot do anything on our own in our own organization alone. One country alone cannot change, but together we can make big changes. The second one is prevention. How can we prevent crisis situations? The third one is intervention. How can we intervene when the crisis is already there? And the fourth one is living refreshed. We are people that are worried about taking care of the vulnerable, but we also need to take care of ourselves. We need to be in peace with God, with people, with families. So I'm going to share with you this precious material, because you can find find your thrill in this roadmap, and I'm sure you can find some very precious material to give you support. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Thank you so much for sharing your life through the best of other lives. It's an honor to be here with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Sarah, for sharing all of that. Thank you for being with us, for your time, for your commitment, and also, as you mentioned, together we can make a big difference. Now, join me, if you please, in welcoming our six speakers for today, or five speakers, sorry, for today. Mr. Majdi Saleh Shazli from Egypt. Floor is yours. Mr. Majdi, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, it's a great pleasure to
Good
hear from
evening and
Majdi.
thanks a lot. Well, to be quite honest, I don't have actual words to describe my feeling, and if I know 1,000 words, I might not be able to form one sentence except that smart people who are taught from their own experience, but super smart people who are taught from others' experience. And I'm very lucky to be with super smart people like you.
And you are included, sure, among them.
Starting my speech about children, I like to say, if you want to touch your past, touch a rock. If you want to touch your present, touch a flower. And if you want to touch your future, touch your life. And I believe we can touch our life without our children and our kids. So all of us are speaking about how can we make our children live in safety place and in safe place, and all of our children and kids, they have the rights to eat, to sleep safely, to learn. But I'd like to share you a true story and what basically happened in 18th century. There was something spread in Europe and eventually found its way to America. It's purple fever, and they called it Black Death of Childbed. Basically, what was happening in women would give birth and they would die in 48 hours. And the situation was worse and worse and worse, even in some hospitals. 70% of women who gave birth would die of this disease. But it was the time of Renaissance and empirical data. And the doctors want us to know the main reason why these women would die. They started to check corpses of dead women, and they go to deliver their papers in the afternoon until a young doctor, his name Oliver Wendell Holmes, he said, guys, you're the problem. They ignored him and called him crazy for 30 years until another doctor who noticed that they didn't sterilize and wash their hands, and they started to wash their hands and the disease gone away. My lesson is sometimes we're the problem as the elders. The main reason for the suffering of our children, I think we are. We are the main cause of their suffering because we have to think wisely for a moment. Why we make them feel like they are homeless without any schools? Can you imagine? Can you imagine the Palestinian kids? They are they are waking every morning and listening to the sound of bombs. Can you imagine? Imagine at your home when you wake up at 7 a.m. and you don't you don't find water. How do you feel? You feel angry. Where is water? I want to wash my face to go home. Imagine kids in Gaza without homes, without water, without food, without schools. Can you imagine this? I am here not to talk a lot about their duties and we have to provide our children with more facilities. No, they are they only want simple needs. They want water, food. Thanks a lot for having me because Nelson Mandela said, if you want to get man's mind, talk to a language he can understand it. But if you want to get a man's heart, talk to his own language. And I notice that most of you are mothers and women. So I am not here to talk in academic way or scientifically. Of course I can do this. But I like to, to, to shed the light on the suffering of kids and the children all over the world. God bless you all. Thanks a lot for having me, and I'm very proud to be with you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Majdi, for your wishes and for your speech. And as you mentioned, we are not just here to have a sophisticated language. We are here just to share a very simple message that every
Yeah,
child deserve a chance to bloom, regardless of the storm they will born into. Here
yeah,
our message that all of us should just raise our voice, even though it's gonna be simple. But sometimes, if you're going to help each one of us to just have a way to help other people, we as educator, as from all across the world, we think that words is a weapon. We use it in order to make a change in the world, and in order to raise awareness about the importance of taking care of such types of children, such types of victims. Actually, if we are here today, we are not just to say poem. We are not here just to make a speech. We are here just to say that we stand with the humanity. We stand with those kids. We are here just to help them in a way or another. Thank you, Mr. Majdi, again for
thanks a
your
lot.
contribution, for your time, for giving us the chance to hear from you. And now join me, if you please, in welcoming our next speaker. She's Herdiana Dewi from Indonesia. We would like to hear from you. Floor is yours. It's a very great pleasure to have you again, Ms. Diana. Can you hear me?
Yes, my dear. Am I audible? Because right now it's heavy raining outside. I hope
Yeah.
I'm fully audible.
No, I
Okay.
think it's fine because I faced the same problem at the beginning. I was speaking without a voice, sharing a video without a photo. So it's good to ask because I noticed later on that they didn't see the video. It was just a voice. So everything is okay. Herdiana, floor is yours. We are so excited to hear from you.
Okay, thank you so much, my dear Maha. Good morning, afternoon, and evening to all guest speakers and also our amazing participants, both in the Zoom and also in the Facebook Live. First of all, thank you so much, my dear Maha, for invitation and also the initiative, because yeah, I'm truly grateful that today we are gathering here to discuss a matter that really important, because the protection of children's lives in conflict zone, it's truly important, which is really bring the focus on the ongoing conflict, let's say in the current situation that we have now, the war between Palestine and Israel, for example, because the innocence of children should be a universal concern that transcend border and political ideologies, because for they are the most vulnerable victim in any conflict. And today I'd like to shed light on the urgency of this issue and explore how we can leverage the power of social media to make a meaningful impact and empower the young generation, especially because I noticed that so many students join in this session to champion the cause of protecting the innocents in conflict zones. Because let's say the conflict between any countries that are having war, for example, it has been like more than a month, more than 2 months. So the suffering is truly hit their lives every single day, and leaving, of course, countless children caught in the crossfire. And these children endure unimaginable hardship, like they are witnessing violence, displacement, and loss on a scale that no child actually should ever have to experience. Even me, when I watch the news, for example, I feel like I'm so scared to hear the voice, the bombing voice, the crying of the people around me when we see like we lost our family members, for example. So I think it's truly our responsibility to advocate for their rights and to work towards a future where every child can grow up in a safe and nurturing environment. And we live in digital age, so I think social media has emerged as a powerful tool that can bridge gaps, raise awareness, and mobilize support for important causes. And in the context of the conflict, for example, right now between Palestine and Israel, social media allows us to share the stories of these children, bringing their struggle to the front row of the global consciousness. So through platforms like we are having live in the Facebook right now, or Instagram or Twitter, we can amplify their voice and shine a light on the harsh realities they face. And to the young generation, I think it's truly important to hold the incredible potential to drive change, because I know that our young generation are digital natives, well first in the language of social media, and they possess the ability to connect with people around the world. Like I'm in Indonesia, you might in Arabian countries, you might in the UK, USA, and many other countries. So as advocates for the protection of children's lives, we must empower the youth to take charge and use their online platforms to create awareness and affect change. So one impactful way to utilize social media is by sharing authentic and compelling stories. So humanizing the experience of these children through photos, videos, and personal narratives can truly evoke empathy and inspiration action. So by tapping into the emotional core of individuals, we can foster a sense of shared responsibility and solidarity. Because when we watch a video, it's more visual, and it's more clearly we got hear the voice. Maybe you can put the back sounds that can really touch and also make other people to have more empathy. And moreover, I think we must leverage social media to engage in constructive dialogue. Okay, like what we are doing right now, we encourage open conversation that transcend political divides, can truly lead to better understanding of the complexity surrounding the conflict. Because I think this understanding is truly crucial for fostering empathy and building a bridges towards sustainable solution. So beyond online activism, we need to channel our efforts into tangible real-world empowerment. So this can involve supporting organizations on the ground that are actively working to protect and rehabilitate children affected by the conflict. I'm sure in every country we have that kind of organization. So take a charge of yourself, put yourself on over the hands for them, right? And again, social media can be a powerful for fundraising tool, allowing us to mobilize resources for this organization and make a direct impact on the lives of those in it. Let's say you are a tech savvy as our generation. You can make initiative with your community, with your friends at the school, with your teacher, for example, with your family member. You can make fundraising through your Facebook, through your Instagram, and then you can try to put the bridge with the organization in your current area. So you can not only make advocating online or make online activism, but you can put into a tangible actions to really give access, to really provide foods, for example, to those children that in needs. And I think one more that I'd like to highlight in here is we need to address misinformation, which is truly crucial aspect of advocating for children's life in conflict zone, especially concerning that thing that what happened. Because in our pursuit to advocate for protection of children's life, I think it's really important that we need to address the pervasive issue of misinformation because we live in digital age, information spread rapidly, and unfortunately, so does misinformation. The more information goes widely, the more misinformation might we have. Okay, so misinformation not only clouds to the truth, but can also perpetuate harmful narratives that contribute to the cycle of conflict. Okay, so for example, the war that is ongoing is no stranger to propagation of misinformation. So false narrative and biased information truly often circulate on social media. I think not only on social media, but in messenger chats like WhatsApp group, Messenger, or many other things. And this kind of thing truly shaping public perception and influencing opinions. So it is our responsibility to counteract this trend by promoting media literacy and encouraging people to critically evaluate the information they encounter. So just because, okay, you watch BBC, you watch CNN, and then you purely believe in it. We try to find more source information. Okay, so in the context of this conflict, I think misinformation can fuel propaganda and deepen divisions. So we must actively engage in educating ourselves first in the foremost and others about the complexity of the situation and encouraging a nuance of understanding that goes beyond oversimplified narratives. So yeah, by doing so, I think we can dismantle stereotypes and challenge the misinformation that hinders progress towards peace. And yeah, I think to do I have more time? Okay, to conclude my speech, I'd like to make point that protection of the children left in the conflict zone, it's really demand our immediate attention and concern effort. So we need to harnessing the power of social media. Like I have said, we can raise awareness, inspire action, empower the young generation to be advocates for change, because together we can make a movement. We can strive together to the world where every child can grow up free from the shadows of conflict, where their innocence is protected and cherished, not being scared or make so much trauma in our future generations. So thank you so much for your time, for listening me. I'm giving back to Dr. Maha. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ella, for your wonderful insights and for sharing. And I would like to thank you also for something special. Thank you for highlighting one of the most important things we are facing nowadays, disinformation and fake news. Let us here just consider a platform, especially that we have a big number of students among us. Pay attention to social media, pay attention to digital literacy, because it's very important. We are living in a digital age and you are digital learner. So before you are going just to judge, make a judgment, before you are going to share any thoughts, just make sure that it's real, it's authentic. And actually, when it comes to media nowadays, we can consider the most dangerous weapon. It's sometimes its impact is more destructive than the real one. So if you please pay attention, whenever you want to share something, be careful about it, and usually choose something authentic, because actually media, especially some websites, or some, for example, as Mr. Diana mentions, popular sites, we trust them, we used to trust them, but we ended up knowing that no, we still have fake news. We still have, they are not just reporting what has really happened. So try to be smart and know the source and know what to believe and don't believe. Thank you again for your time, for your commitment, for your contribution, and for the important message you share, Ms. Herdiana. And now, if you please join me in welcoming our next speaker from Turkey. I think she's here with us. Asa Edugan Jazir, floor is yours. It's a great pleasure to be with us today. Floor is yours. No word. Peace,
Hello.
please. Yeah, hello.
Hello, I am Ayşe, Yeni Mahalle Campus College, project coordinator from Turkey. I stand before you today with a profound belief, a belief that every child, regardless of the storm they are born into, deserves a chance to bloom. Our world is often marked by chaos, conflict, and injustice, and it is the innocent, the children who bear the brunt of these challenges. In the midst of turmoil and strife, they are our greatest hope, our most vulnerable, and our collective responsibility. We gather here today with a deep sense of urgency and purpose, recognizing that the Sustainable Development Goals, particularly SDG 16, are not mere words on paper, but a roadmap to a more just and peaceful world. SDG 16, with its focus on peace, justice, and strong institutions, serves as our guiding star in this mission. Peace, a state of tranquility that so many children in conflict zones can only dream of, is at the heart of SDG 16. It calls upon us to strive for peaceful and inclusive societies where children can grow to thrive without fear. Justice and cornerstone of SDG 16 is the shield that must protect them from the horrors of war. Strong institutions, the bedrock of SDG 16, are the guardians of their well-being. Our webinar is not just a discussion. It is a call to action. It is an opportunity for us to delve into the heart of this issue, to understand the complexities of protecting children's innocence of the conflict zones, and to share effective strategies for change. Our distinguished panelists bring forth a wealth of knowledge and experience, shedding light on the challenge and sharing success stories that inspire hope. We are not here merely to acknowledge the problem. We are here to seek solutions, to forge partnership and commit concrete actions. The children in conflict zones cannot wait. Their suffering is a pressing issue that demands our immediate and attention. As we delve into the discussions today, let us not forget that our commitment to SDG 16 is not just an obligation. It is a promise to the children of conflict zones that their lives do indeed matter. Thank you, and I look forward to fruitful and impactful dialogue. Again, thank you very much, dear Maha, and all my participating friends. Thank you very much.
Especially when it comes to United Nations Sustainable Development Goal, especially SDG 16. So here, that's why we call for action. We don't just want these SDGs, or we don't want just the declarations of the children's rights, just to be convention, just to be document we share with our students. We need real action. We need real implementation of such types of SDGs, or the declarations of the human rights and children, in order to guarantee that every child, wherever they are going to be, they are going to be given a chance to live in a peaceful way, to have their basic need, to have their rights for education, for justice, for peace, for everything. Thank you again. And now, ladies and gentlemen, and our amazing speaker, join me in welcoming our next speaker. She's Dr. Rivati Marrat from India. She's going also to share a message. If you please, stage is yours. The digital floor is yours.
Thank you. So, namaste to all. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Okay, and before Dr. Rivati is going to start, we just would like to say Happy Diwali from all of us to you and to all Indian participants we have it today, and all Indian who are just audience who are listening to us, and to IIU team. Yes, floor is yours. Sorry for it.
So, namaste to all. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all. Thank you, Mahama. I'm Dr. Revati Rautro from India, and happy Deepavali to all from India. So, talking about the children's life matter. So, protecting innocence in life conflict situations. So, today bring me joy and privilege that children are a gift, and not all have it easy. So, their innocence reminds us it's our duty to shield them from the confusion and the harm of conflicts. So, to the world, hear the voices of children in conflict areas. Their dreams should not be drowned out by the sounds of war. So, let's stand together to ensure their rights, their safety, and the future fills with hope. So, dear world, the voices of children in war cry out for peace, safety, and a chance to dream. So let's strengthen the voices and work together to create a world where every child can grow up free from the horrors of conflict. So protecting kids in war zones, it's time to alert. So in the chores of war, children are the most vulnerable. So it's our duty to care for them and shield them. So let's take coordinated global action now. The hard truth is the kids in war zones lack basic rights and live in constant danger. So no safe homes, schools, or hospitals. They face abuse and lack essential aid. So let's act urgently to protecting their well-being. But despite laws and treaties, the children victims of violence keep rising. A big gap exists between the world on paper and harsh reality. So enforcing these laws falls short with little progress in reducing child abuse. Where is the real action? So the need for initiative is there. So recognizing the pressing need to address the difficult situations the child impacted by the conflict endure, some important issues have been recognized as requiring the immediate attention. So quick and the enough aid is crucial for kids in conflict zones. So access to basics like water, healthcare, food, and protection can ease the impact of violence and displacement. So please act now. So investing in education and psychological care is the key for kids in conflict. So quality education and support bring stability, optimism, and the tools for a brighter future. So act for their better tomorrow. So let's protect kids in conflict zones. Our duty is clear. We have to ensure their right to a safety childhood. Act now by enforcing laws, aiding emergency, relief, funding education, and promoting peace. So our commitment shapes their future. So let's act urgently. In the end, our humanity is measured by how we care for our most vulnerable, our children. So let's create a world where no child's dreams are broken by conflict and where children's laughter overpowers the noise of war. So let's unite to shape the innocence of child in conflict zones. Their rights are our responsibility. So together we build a safer world for them. Think so. Here, I would like to thank you for raising the child's voice. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity, ma'am. Thank you.
Like also to thank you, Dr. Ribasi, for your wonderful speech, for the message you shared. And as you mentioned, together we can make a difference. Together we can make sure that no child is going to be left behind. Now, join me also in welcoming our next speaker. He's going to be Dr. Carlos Richards. Floor is yours. Can you hear me? Dr. Carlos?
Yes.
Yes.
Hello,
Hi.
I can hear you.
Yes.
Can you
Great
hear me?
from you? Yeah, you can.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay. I'm really delighted for me to be part of this great movement, which is very, very key. My name is Dr. Carlos Richard Sankor. Currently in Sierra Leone. I'm the head of UnityNet Africa and Diaspora. We are working in all the 55 African states. And so our headquarters is based in Uganda, but we work in all the 55 African states. I am also a quality assurance personnel, and I want to look at specifically the economic status of the children in conflict zone. And that's a serious issue I want us to focus on. So the next time I will do presentation through slides so that we can have the guide. And so today, excuse me, please. I'm sorry about it. But I join all my colleagues to ensure that we all work as a team to fight for the children. Let us remember that we are all going, and as we are going, all right, the children will be taking the next step to ensure that they have what it takes to lead this world. But if we, the adults, didn't perform our roles and responsibility well, I'm telling you, the children that are coming, they will have no future. And the current situation in Gaza, for me, is a blank situation. It's a serious one. It's appalling. It's not friendly. So I join the other members for us globally to ensure that we reiterate peace, and we reiterate peace, we ensure that peace reigns. And what is happening in Gaza now should stop. The violence is never the answer to any problem. Peace is always the solution. So fire cannot quench fire. That's always the slogan. So therefore, I want to encourage this movement for us to strengthen it, to ensure that we have a very strong global unit team, and join and consonant with other international human rights fighting groups to ensure that peace is reigning in Gaza. It's not only in Gaza, but peace reigning in all conflict zones. So therefore, I encourage all of us to join together. Let us do what we can. Let us speak out. Let us have a communique. Let us develop a communique to tell the world that we are against what is happening against our children, against women, etc. Thank you. I want to appreciate you all. Once again, my name is Dr. Carlos Richard Sanko from Sierra Leone. Thank you.
Thank you a lot, Dr. Carlos, for giving us the honor and the privilege to have you today. Thank you for your insights and for the message. Now, join me, if you please, in welcoming our next speaker from Georgia. Miss Nana, she's here.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Good evening.
digital floor is yours.
Good evening. I am Nana Kisekorashvili. I am from Georgia. I am teacher. I greet you with love and great respect. The topic of today's webinar is very heavy, unfortunately. Today we have many hotspots in the world. We are Innocent Children Day. No to war. Children have the right to live. My student, Andrea Arladze, will make a presentation on the given topic. Please, Andrea.
Yes, Andrea, great pleasure to hear from you. Welcome with us. You're going to represent the children.
Yes.
Yes, it's a great pleasure to hear from you. Floor is yours.
Share the screen.
Check the
Yes.
platas from to see. It in order, whatever example, add water, what. My business, I did. We don't cook the. But
Yes,
send a
Dr.
quick note.
I think you can. Yes, thank you.
Hello, my name is Andrea Ladze. I'm from Tbilisi, Georgia, and today I will be talking about safeguarding children's rights during the times of conflict. As we all know, war is awful, and preserving children's rights during times of conflict is critical to ensuring their safety and well-being. This presentation will look at the difficulties and methods for protecting children in crisis zones. Children suffer greatly as a result of war, suffering from physical injuries, psychological anguish, and displacement. Education is interrupted and healthcare is insufficient. The families are shattered and lots of people are killed. Some youngsters are recruited or exploited as soldiers, robbing them of their innocence. The psychological wounds they bear have an impact on their social development, leaving them feeling insecure or fearful, and that's only if they manage to survive. They also risk propagating violence in the future. It is critical to protect and nurture these young victims, but the ultimate objective must be conflict prevention in order to preserve their well-being. Most recent examples of this is Israel-Palestine conflict, where children's involvement in war is a deeply concerning issue. Ever since this war started, at least 4,324 children have been killed. And that's only the statistics that we know of. The legal foundation for children in armed conflict is based on humanitarian and human rights legislations. It consists of CRC, Convention of the Rights of the Children, and its optional protocol on the role of child soldiers. The Genevan Conventions and their optional protocols, the Rome Statutes of the International Criminal Court, ICC, and the United Nations and Security Council resolutions. These tools work together to prevent child recruitment, protect children during conflict, and bring offenders to justice. To ensure the protection and rehabilitation of children impacted by conflict, natural legislation should be aligned with these frameworks. One of the examples of this heart-wrenching issue has happened in African civil wars. Children are recruited forcibly or join voluntarily due to various factors, including economical hardship, family and community pressure, and ideological beliefs. These international communities and NGOs work together deliberately to demobilize and rehabilitate child soldiers, providing them with psychological support and education to help integrate them into civilian life. Protecting the rights and well-being of these children remains a vital humanitarian concern in the conflict-affected regions across whole world. Protective measures for children in war are essential. These include programs for child soldiers demobilization and reintegration, strict enforcement of international laws prohibiting child recruitment, and humanitarian aid for basic needs. Furthermore, international organizations, governments, and communities must collaborate to create stable and safe environment for children to grow and heal after armed conflicts. International cooperation concerning children in war is essential to safeguarding their rights and well-being. The Paris Principles and commitments have been pivotal in strengthening efforts to prevent the recruitment and use of child soldiers. Collaborative initiatives by governments, non-governmental organizations, and international bodies aim to ensure the protection, rehabilitation, and reintegration of these children into society. In conclusion, child's rights in times of war are paramount and are protected by comprehensive legal framework. Efforts should be directed toward prevention, enforcement, and rehabilitation. International cooperation combined with community to upholding these rights is critical to protecting children from the devastating effects of armed conflict, allowing them to grow up in safety, dignity, and with hope for a better future. I'd like to conclude this presentation with a positive message. Peace stands as a powerful force for unity and progress. It is through mutual understanding and collaboration that we pave the path to a more harmonious world. Let us continue our collective efforts to foster peace and create a bright future for all. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you a lot for your wonderful presentation, and thank you for representing children themselves in our conference, for sharing your wishes, and for sharing a message of the importance of protecting children and the importance of peace all over the world. Because only through peace we can guarantee that our children are going to have a good life. They are going to have at least their basic needs and the things they needed in order to survive. Thank you a lot. Thank you, Ms. Nana, also for your presence with us today. I just would like to ask if we have another speaker from Georgia, or didn't join yet?
No.
It's okay. So it was a great pleasure to hear from both of you. I think now we are supposed to welcome our next speaker, Andira. Andira, Dr. Andira. I don't know if she's with us. Okay, no problem. So join me if she's not here, maybe because of connection issue. Join me also in welcoming our distinguished speaker from Nigeria, Onishi Choinov. Are you here? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, Floor, the digital floor is yours. It's gonna be a great pleasure to hear from you, especially you are specialized in the issues related to children right and development and building strengths and network for that. The digital floor is yours, if you please.
Thank you so much, so very much. It's a pleasure to be here. I would say I just stumbled on this and it's really a pleasure. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity and thanks for all that you are doing. I'm super excited that a child has to present here because most times we speak for children, but when they speak for themselves, they actually present the matters as they really affect them. This is a great opportunity. And yeah, one thing is sure, every child has the right to live. Every child has the right to safety, and nothing should deny this child, any child of anything. The child said something. He said that child rights should stand in times of war. And this is where our problem is. The world always forget the children, how vulnerable they are. And I am just excited that this has come, and I have seen it as an opportunity, as a movement that should go on. So we actually get to tell the world that we are here, we are to protect the children no matter what happens. From my own side, we have issues when it comes to Gaza and Israel, because we have people from my side taking sides on the side of either religion or culture, and I find that very embarrassing, because as far as I'm concerned, a child is a child, no matter where that child is resident, no matter where his parents are from, and every child should be protected. And that's why I'm excited to be part of this today. Thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to bigger opportunities where we can come together and put our voice together. And actually, what we've said here today should stand out. We should have a way of letting these things get to world leaders, get to the champions of this world, these wars going on everywhere, not just in Gaza, and tell them, no matter their personal interest, that the safety of the child must be paramount. Thank you so much. I'm Ambassador Onyechi Joy-Wosu, a child development and safety consultant, a women and child rights advocate, and the founder of Vivacious Development Initiative, a non-profit organization that is based headquartered in Aba, Abia State, Nigeria, and we've been in existence for more than 50 years, talking about issues that concern women and children. And we know that in times of war, children and women suffer most. And I'm looking forward to this being a platform where we can be able to protect our children. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you a lot for being with us. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, for sharing your message, and concerning your just first wish about the students presenting here. Actually, as International Students Development Council, we consider, or usually we give a priority for children to share knowledge, because it's our aim, it is the message to give the floor for the kids, to enhance their self-confidence, to help them, to guide them, because as you know, every child needs an educator just to take his hand, to give him to the right place,
yeah,
to inspire them. So actually we are here just to guide them, to inspire them, and to tell them that you have a great capabilities, and sometimes you are not, sometimes most of the time they are better than us. They just need someone to guide them,
to guide them.
someone
Absolutely.
to help them to know that they are amazing, they are special, and sure they can do it. Thank you again for your presentation.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for the
And we were
opportunity.
really honored just to hear from you. Now, if you please join me in welcoming our next speaker, Andira. Are you here? I don't know, because she's trying. Yes, sorry, just she's trying to join because actually she's facing a connection issue today. Yes, I think she's with us now. Andira.
Yes.
Yes, sorry. It's okay. Sorry, I noticed that you face many connection issues today. You're just trying to join in and leave. It's a great pleasure to hear from you. Are you ready just to start?
Yes.
Digital floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the opportunity and for the time that I'm sorry for all the technical difficulties, but I am so honored to be here and to be able to hear about all the reality that children faces around the world. We are, or I am from Ecuador, and here we have heard Paola Perez before from Argentina, and also Sara Vargas from Brazil, but the reality from Latin America, it's very close to the reality from other countries. The violent environment that children faces, it's not just limited to the environments of war that it's happening right now, but also children face the result of previous wars. And that has happened in Latin America since the year 59, when the revolution in Cuba started, from that time on, different changes that were trying to be set in Latin America were based in force, were faced in war, were faced in revolution, in trying to make a change for the masses to survive and to make this change that was needed, but also was inflicting the changes in the homes of children. Latin America has faced difficulties with war in Colombia, for example, and with what we call guerrilla that was installed in Colombia. The effects of that went above not just the children that lived in Colombia, but also to all the families that were trying to help their children to be away from conflict. We know that in the history of Colombia, for example, their families were trying to send their kids away so they were not going to suffer the results of the guerrilla. In that sense, we have faced in Latin America how war could be a factor that limits children to enjoy their family, their culture, their language, to enjoy safe environments of education, of health. They have prevented them from their development. And all of that has been seen from our countries that we may not have a specific war, for example, in Ecuador, but we face another challenges such as violence. I don't know if you have been able to see in news, but the last year for Ecuador, it's been very difficult. We have faced the violence in jails and from the cartels of all over the world that has been establishing in Ecuador, because we have as a national currency dollars. Also, we have borders with some countries that have very well known systems of traffic of drugs. And that has been a fact that has limited Ecuador to be able to face the violence that it brings or that comes with drugs and comes with traffic. So they are this violence that also it's are like the country is suffering. It's first felt by children that are not being able to be protected for the government, that it's not able to have a real response for all these problems that we are facing. So what's the solution? I do believe that from everything that we have heard in this session is what we are doing, what we could do. And it may seem that we are not doing much in our scopes, but we do. When we start to take importance and to give the voice that children don't have in these spaces, in other spaces, we are doing much. You are doing much. I feel so honored to hear all the voices that are being raised by trying to have children in peace and giving them the chance to grow in safe environments. It's definitely what we should do in the world together. And again, another fact that we have been seeing that it's important, it's to strengthen families. Families are the first ones that are going to be able to help children. Sometimes the government won't be able to give the responses that children need. Therefore, we need to start to raise our voices as well, to give strength then to families in their different ways of families. For example, single moms, or parents that are not in a regular normal family. But this strength that we could give to their support environment, also as their teachers, as their neighbors, when we start to see children more and we protect them more, not being, for example, called by the government, but just as human beings, when we recognize that as human beings, all of us, we have the duty to protect children, we will have them to be able to be protected from anything that gives them conflict and that takes away their peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Andira, for sharing, for raising your voice also. And what we can notice that we're coming from different parts across the globe, whether from Brazil, Argentina, Ecuador, Turkey, Lebanon, Indonesia, etc. What we all have in common that we don't want war. We need peace. We need equality. We need to ensure that every child is having a good place to live in. We are suffering, unfortunately, we are finding the children in every corner in the world. If they are not suffering from war itself, they are suffering from poverty. They are suffering from from being deprived of their rights to be educated, or they are suffering of their rights to have a family, to have a shelter, to have a place to live in, to have a name, to have etc. Many other elements. So we are here again together to raise our voice, to say that kids, we as adults, we are supposed, as you mentioned, we are supposed to do our best to protect kids and help them in order to ensure that they are going to have a special place to live in. Thank you again for your participation. Thank you again for giving us your time, for giving us the privilege to hear from you today. Now, I would like to give the floor for our students. I know they have been waiting. If you please, because we have a big number of the students and some of them were unfortunately they lost their connection, because as you know, just in such places, unfortunately, we still don't have we don't have a good electricity, we don't have connection. Let us start with the first student speaker. Hadi, you're raising your hand. Would you like to start speaking? Mr. Hadi, the floor is yours. Raising his hand. Yes, Hadi, can you hear me? Hadi? Hadi is just raising his hand. Floor is yours, Hadi. I think he's not able. He's not able. Hadi? He has a problem. It's okay until Mr. Hadi is going to be able to have connection, or he is able to be to speak. I would like to ask if any of the students or the participants would like to share a message before we are going to come to an end to our conference today. Yeah. Yes, Hadi, I'm just saying the floor is yours. If you would like to share. He has a problem. Ask to unmute. Yes. Hadi. Back to Hadi. It's okay. I think he's not able to. Yes, Hadi. I don't know if you are able to join. It's okay. I'm sorry. I think you still have a problem with connection. Okay. So just in order not to be late more, any of the students would like to share? Okay. I think the same problem. Yes, Hadi, you're raising your hand. I'm just saying the floor is yours. You can share your thought. You can share your message. It's okay. I think again back to connection issue. So before we are going just to come to an end, I would like just to finish our webinar for today by sharing just a short message. In a world that is fraught with conflict, let us our collective voice declare a resounding no, no to the terror that rob our children of their laughter, of their life, dreams, and future. Let us come together from across the world, from all as a global community, in order to build a heaven for unwavering peace, boundless compassion, and enduring hope. Our children, actually, wherever they are going to be, deserve a world where their innocence is preserved, cherished, and celebrated. Let us together hold true to our true promise to ensure that the future generation inherit a land free from any violence, free from any war. Together, we can make a difference. Together, we can be the voice of the voiceless. Together, we can put an end to the suffering of such types of kids. We share the same hope, we share the same dreams, we share the same thoughts that we as a human, we have the right to be protected, we have the right to live in peace, to have a family, and to grow up in such a place. I would like to end with the students' voice themselves, as I mentioned, because as many of the students told me that the video was at the screen, to let the students themselves share their voice. Just 1 minute to ensure that my screen is ready in order not to face the same problem like before. Let me, what? No, wait. I would like also to thank before just putting the video. I would like to thank all our speakers for today for their time, for their contributions and commitment to be with us today. Okay. But if you please, I just want to make sure that you can see the video now. Or yes. So this is just the voice of the children themselves. So I wish that we are going to be in time, we're going to reach a time when all children are going to be given the chance to live in peace. Before we're going to come to an end, I would like to thank all our amazing speakers for today and giving you the floor if you would like to share a final message and a final thought. Yes, our esteemed speaker, if any one of you would like just to say a final message, share a final message or quote. Yes, Ali. Ali Atway is raising his hand. Yes, Ali.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Ali. Yes. Yes, Ali, floor is yours. You can share your message before we are going to come to an end. Yes, Ali.
Yes, can you hear me?
Ali, we can't hear you. Unfortunately, we just have students. They are just trying to speak with me, but we can't hear you. And I try to give you the chance, but again, we are facing the same problem. Yes, Ali. The same. Okay, I would like, I think, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry for not giving you the chance to participate due to the connections issue you have it in your country. Yes, Ali. Again, we have the same problem. Yes, Dr. Carlos, floor is yours. Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. So for me, my final word,
Yeah.
what are we going to do as a team for us to look at these global issues affecting our children? The future is really, really bleak. So therefore, this is a call to concern that all of us, that what we are doing now is the right step. We should ensure that we bring the right people and people who are interested in this journey. It's a long journey that is difficult, with a series of difficulties or challenges alongside. So, but if we work as a team, we are together, all right? We galvanize our ideas, resources, and people who are passionate in relation to this journey. Then for me, I'm sure that we're going to succeed. So therefore, I want to encourage each and every one of us that please let us do something. What are we going to do from today? Let us think of a strategic plan that we are going to set up and see that in the next phase, we look at what we have done so far, what we have been able to accomplish. So we should be able to map out something and have a roadmap that will guide us in different phases of intervention. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Carlos. Before we are going to leave, I just want to say my final comments today. As you mentioned, we are here together, united, just to share one message. We are united here just from all the countries of the world to raise our voice against war, the loss of the innocent life, and violence. Every life, as the final word, every lives matter, and it's time to say no. No to war, no to killing, and no to violence. Thank you for being with us, for your contributions, and for raising your voice. And we hope when we are going to meet again, we're going to speak about something positive. We are going to see that the war really ended, and the children at least have a chance to live in a more peaceful world. Until we meet again, I would like to wish good evening or good afternoon for every one of you. Thank you for being with us, and I hope that we are going, or we just, let's say, we are dreaming to have a world. We just imagine that we are going to have a world without violence, without war, without such types of terrible accidents or terrible scenes that we are witnessed every day. Thank you again. We are here to stand with everyone, with every single child, with every single human all over the world, whatever the problem they are facing with. We are here to stand with humanity. Thank you again, and goodbye, everyone.